Back to Great Day. The Houston Public Library opened its doors on March 2nd, 1904. And as you can imagine, it has its own story with new chapters constantly being added. It was called the Houston Lyceum and Carnegie Library, located at the corner of Travis Street and McKinney Avenue. After experiencing growth along with our city, it was later moved to its current location across from City Hall. Eventually, the name was changed in honor of the city's first head librarian, Julia Idison. Since then, our library system has spread throughout the city with 5 regional libraries, 29 neighborhood and express centers, and 3 research centers, and more to come. And keeping up with the times, we also have 3 tech links. What would Julia think about that? We'll explain what that is in a second. But joining us with more on the celebration of 120 years is the director of the Houston Public Library, Dr. Rhea Lawson. Good morning, Dr. Lawson.
Hi, Deborah. How are you?
I am good. Okay, packing 120 years in an intro is impossible to do, but we've come a long way. And the importance of a book, we heard Claudia earlier say she went to the library
I love it.
and got a book.
I love it. And she's just one of, I don't know, a trillion people who have found a dream.
Yeah, let's just use the word kabillion.
Kabillion.
Yeah.
People who have walked into a library, opened a book, and a light bulb went off.
Yeah.
And it changed their life.
And what's interesting about when you're reading a book is I think that you are a partner in the process, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you watch a video, sometimes you watch and say, okay, that's it. How do they do that? And you copy what they did versus meshing your own imagination,
Correct.
Which is what a book can do. So growing up, what was the first book you remember connecting with?
You know, Judy Blume's series. As a preteen and teen, she Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret was one that really was riveting to me. And then later it was Maya Angelou, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings.
Yeah, a lot of us, I mean, we read books, most all of us read books, but you took to heart in a different way with books to the point where you would become a librarian.
Yes. I remember going to story hours at my neighborhood library. My mother would walk me there, and that librarian had such an impact on me. I could not wait, and I'd, of course, go home with tons of books. Yeah. But books become your friends, and if they changed my life, if they had such an impact on my life, I wanted to have that kind of impact or have some way to encourage others to read.
Yeah, and going back in time to 120 years ago with the Houston Lyceum and Carnegie Library, you know, a book I would imagine had even different meaning, because first of all, people didn't have access to them.
That's right.
And even things like getting on a plane and traveling someplace is still hard for a lot of people, but back then, it wasn't happening, right?
That's right.
So if you want to travel to the other side of the world, the book was the way to do it.
The book was the way to do it. And there were 2 insightful groups, the Women's Club of Houston and the Ladies Reading Club, who wrote Andrew Carnegie and insisted that we have a library here in Houston.
Yeah, you talked about the women. This is International Women's Month.
Yes.
This is one of those areas where when people were in leadership roles, the women were the librarians.
And Julia Idison was more than the typical librarian. She was also an activist. She stood for women's rights, so it's very adequate that we are talking about her.
Yeah, she had 3 wishes when they built the library. Flexibility of library rooms, good ventilation. We understand that in Houston, right? And good windows for lighting. It was completed in 1926. It was refurbished just a few years ago. If you have not been down there, it's just a beautiful, beautiful building. All right, so 1976, the new Central Library next door to the Julia Idison building. You know, as we mentioned, things keep growing. And then today, I said in the introduction there's like all kinds of ways to access your library system. I mentioned the 3 tech links. If you have not been to one of these tech links, first of all, you haven't been to one of the libraries, you need to go. But when I walked into that first tech link, they were writing rap songs and recording them. And I was like, wait, what's going on here? There's 3D printers, there's all kinds of things.
A green room, instruments that you can learn how to play. You could lay a track. You can do a podcast. Yeah,
you have a cafe college center, the Mobile Express, which has been a great link to a lot of people. And you have a new library coming up based on someone who read a book that impacted her career, and she became an astronaut.
Shannon Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Shannon Walker Library will be opening this spring in the Westbury area, and she grew up in that area. In the council member Castek Tatum, that's her district, District K,
Yeah.
and she did a contest. The contest for the community, what should we name the library? And overwhelmingly, it was for Shannon Walker.
Perfect. So outside of just the book, also lots of great services. And I don't know why I did not know about this when my son was in grade school. You can get homework and test prep help. Stop
That's
the
right.
madness. Okay.
24 hours.
Yeah. Wow. And you can create music or record a podcast, as we mentioned. Check out a laptop or a hotspot. Learn a new language. And this one right here, I heard this on my head, just whipped around. Get a passport?
Yes. Their passports. We very popular in many of our library locations. You can go get a passport.
Yeah, because at one point that became so restrictive that we have to have better ways for people to access that, and this is one of them. The research centers. Many people have gone down and researched their family history because you have made that easier for us to do as well.
The Clayton Center for Genealogical Research, yes.
All right. There's the limited edition My Link Library card in honor of the 120-year anniversary.
It is a special, a limited edition card that's only going to be available for 120 days. We are celebrating 120 years, so we have this card available for 120 days. And that is something that is very popular during our celebration, that the big kickoff for our 120th anniversary last Saturday. The lines were super long trying to get this card, so I would encourage everybody, if you want one, please.
All right, and what does that card allow us to do? Just having it is something special, but what does it allow us to do?
It allows you, well, it's a full service card, so it allows you to access all the resources of the library.
So I can get some homework
E-books, right. E-books, hardcover books, laptops.
Yeah.
Hotspots.
I can't say this enough for people to really go to your public library. There is just so much there.
Yes.
There's something about being in a room filled with books. You could blindfold me and I would know I was in the library. I know you would know too.
Yes.
But the stillness and quietness of it, but at the same time, knowing that you're collectively there gathering information. All right, there's like some mini birthday parties that will be happening March 14th.
Yes. All
Houston Public Library locations from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Yes. Yes, these all of the libraries are involved in the celebration. So these mini celebrations, and then there are going to be larger celebrations. And then HEB, I want to give a shout out to them because they have underwritten a lot of the celebrations that we're having, and we're going to have a few of those celebrations in a couple of their stores. And the big deal is one of their 18-wheelers that you see out on the street has our logo on it, along with HEB, wishing us a happy 120 years.
Wow. Upcoming parties include April 6th, Oak Forest Neighborhood Library, April 20th, the McGovern Stella Link Regional Library, all over the place. And I'm going to say, the library has always been important, but there's an extra level of urgency right now, knowing what's going on in some of our school districts, HISD, one of them, where some of the libraries closed. And so you're trying to, in any way possible, help to narrow that gap for kids.
In our neighborhood libraries that are close to schools, our staffs are reaching out and making relationships and establishing relationships with those schools, and making sure that they have the MyLink card, and communicating with some of the staff over there to see how they can supplement some of the resources that are missing in those schools.
Yeah. Dr. Lawson, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. The library is now closed. For more information, the books have been read, the library is closed. For more information about upcoming events and initiatives, visit their website at houstonlibrary.org.